Good morning and welcome to the WMS Virtual Winter Conference. I am so excited and grateful to be here. I never would have imagined over 25 years ago when I attended the first World Congress on Wilderness Medicine as a third-year medical student, I would be here addressing you today as president. A lot has changed in the past 25 plus years. A lot has changed in the past year in the world and in the WMS. I'd like to highlight a few of those overwhelmingly positive changes that have occurred despite a global pandemic and our inability to meet in person. The WMS mission is to encourage, foster, support, and conduct activities to improve the scientific knowledge of our membership, the general public, in human health activities in a wilderness environment. This past year, we added an explicit statement of values to that mission. We, the WMS, recognize the importance and benefits of a diverse and inclusive society. We are committed to fostering an environment of acceptance that is equitable to all. We recognize the rights of all individuals to mutual respect without bias based on differences of any kind. We value our individual and group differences. Our commitment to inclusiveness will be evident in our policies and procedures as part of our strategic plan and within our organizational goals. In the past 6 months, we've already made strides to demonstrate these values and make the WMS inclusive in several concrete ways. I'll tell you more about those in just a minute. First, to those attendees who are new to the WMS, I'd like to tell you about who we are. We are a group of health professionals from all over the world. We are anesthesiologists, mountain guides, paramedics, obstetricians, pediatricians, nurses and nurse practitioners, physician's assistants, neurologists, PhD scientists, search and rescuers. We are open to anyone who practices medicine in the wild or has an interest in medicine in the outdoors. If this is your first conference event, welcome. I strongly encourage you to become a member. If you attended the opening session yesterday, you were introduced to our board of directors. When I first joined the board several years ago, I initiated some meet the board activities like run, walk, hike, ski with the board, meet the board happy hours, as a way for members to get to know the WMS leadership. We can't do those activities for this conference, but the board members will be in the breakout rooms, and we're always available to listen to your thoughts and ideas on how to grow and improve our society. With that in mind, let me take a minute to explain our organizational structure. In the beginning, we were a grassroots group started by a few doctors in 1983 who were interested in the outdoors. We were a niche in organized medicine, but we've grown into a solid structure built on 5 fundamental pillars, shown here in brown on the org chart. Research, the academy, including the fellowship in the Academy of Wilderness Medicine, the diploma in mountain medicine, the diploma in diving and marine medicine, education council, membership council, and the conference council. Each of these pillars is represented by 1 or 2 board members, plus 1 or 2 members at large. There's several other key parts to the organization. Our publications, WMS Medicine Magazine, and the Wilderness and Environmental Journal, which has its own separate editorial board from the WMS board, and the special interest groups, shown here in gray, which have been created and developed by you, our members. These special interest groups include Global Health, the Environmental Committee, Operational Medicine, Disaster and Humanitarian Medicine, Search and Rescue, Expedition Medicine, and Women in Wilderness Medicine. Twice a year at the winter and summer meetings, the chairs of these committees present their activities and achievements to the board. And the board works to support these committee activities however we can. So this brings me back to some of the recent ways how we put our value statement into action. We have a newly created Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Working Group, the JEDI Group. Shout out to Sarah Gallo for that amazing name. Wish I'd thought of it. This group will be under the Membership Council with Dr. Rupal Unia as chair. They're open to anyone who wants to be involved and have been very active. At the summer meeting, I hope we can highlight and showcase some of the important work they've been doing. One thing I'll mention briefly is they developed a goal to hold the WMS accountable for increasing diversity among members and speakers. To do that, we need data. so we can track change and learn where we're doing well and where we need to do better. To that end, all conference attendees will get a demographic survey that will ask some personal questions on race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, things like that. Response to this questionnaire is completely optional and also completely anonymous. However, I really encourage everyone to respond so we can learn broadly about who our attendees are and how best to serve you. Another area where we've made progress holding up our organizational values was a combined effort between the Women in Wilderness Medicine Committee and the Conference Committee. The board has approved and implemented 2 new conference policies from that group. Highlights from the general conference policy include a commitment to making the faces on the podium reflect the membership in all aspects, promoting visibility for minority and underrepresented groups, for making conferences a safe and accessible environment for all, and a commitment to collecting data to track our progress. And again, that's where your response to the anonymous survey will help us. The second policy this group worked on was a women's conference policy, which among other changes will help all members with families by making available childcare, nursing rooms, and more family activities like the cool Wilderness First Aid for Kids that we had at the Crested Buttes conference 2 summers ago, the last time we met in person. We can't wait to meet in person again, and when we are, we hope it'll be easier for everyone with families with these policies in place. Lots of great work is coming out of the other committees too. In addition to the conference policy, the Women in Wilderness Medicine is hosting an ongoing women's leadership training program run by Drs. Sarah Crockett and Camilla Sulak. It's open to any WMS member Tuesday evenings every other month. It's a great networking opportunity, and I've learned something every time I've attended. The Global Health Committee did a fantastic job putting together the pre-conference. I hope many of you attended. The Search and Rescue Committee is drafting guidelines for SAR medical directors, and they're itching to run hands-on workshops the next time we can meet live. The Membership Committee, in addition to adding the JEDI Working Group, is working on a new membership structure that aims to be more value-based rather than training-based to eliminate the distinction between physician and non-physician members. We hope to roll that out with our new IT infrastructure coming in the next 12 months. If you're not involved with the committee but want to be, the call for new committee members comes out once a year in the fall, so please watch for that in the WMS Trailblazer. Our achievement and growth depend on you, our members, and we are growing. Despite the pandemic and tough times for healthcare workers, our membership grew by 10% this past year. We now have more than 4,000 members representing 45 countries. I like to believe that growth during the pandemic is because spending time outdoors, practicing medicine outdoors, and by extension, the Wilderness Medical Society is an important source of wellness for healthcare and rescue workers on the front lines. Our organization remains important and relevant during this pandemic, and I hope you'll take advantage of some of the ways we've developed to connect online and contribute to your well-being when we can't meet in person. In addition to converting to virtual conferences like this one, some of our new online events include Meet the Masters Fireside Chats, where we've heard from Paul Auerbach, Peter Hackett, Colin Grissom, and upcoming soon will be the first woman president of the WMS, Luann Freer. We have Research Skills Fireside Chats led by WMS Research Committee members. We have a series on wilderness medicine nursing and information on pursuing your FOM. I hope that soon, when the pandemic calms down and gathering restrictions are lifted, we'll be able to start local in-person member activities and get together to hike, bike, or run wilderness scenarios in regional groups. So look for more on that in upcoming months. Of course, in addition to our online activities, we still offer all our usual amazing member benefits. Let me remind you of just a few. We've got our Adventure CME courses, and we are running the Canyonlands Adventure this spring with COVID precautions and working hard to launch our other programs, such as the Fall Nepal Trek, if it's safe to do so. Every member gets $50,000 medical professional liability insurance for your activities outside the scope of your normal practice. This is completely free. We've got complimentary global rescue services, a variety of discounts on cool gear and pro deals. You can get free CME through the journal and the journal's podcast. We've got e-learning resources online and lots of cool swag at our online store. So check those out online. Our conferences strive to be the most up-to-date on wilderness medicine topics, and that cutting edge comes in part from the work our members do through our research grants. One of the biggest member benefits is access to $30,000 in research grants and to obtain expert research advice through our Ask the Experts page. Our most recent 2020 grant winners include Christopher Sebenman for the Hultgren grant for the effect of hypobaric hypoxia on plasma volume of female lowlanders. Robert Brickley won the Hackett-Auerbach Award for his project Effects of Epoprostenol on the Cold-Induced Vasodilation Response. Kylie Van Housen won the Med Student Award, the Houston Award, for the impact of altitude on solar water disinfection in the wilderness setting. And Jenna Wiley won the Research and Training Grant for her project Weakening Effects of Adulterants on Rope Strength Wears, a basic science materials testing study. Congratulations to all these winners. Please look for presentations of their results at our research forum during the summer meeting. And I hope to see your grant applications for the 2021 cycle. The other important place to learn about cutting-edge research, of course, is the Wilderness and Environmental Medicine Journal, our flagship journal. This is a prime member benefit. Neil Pollack, the editor-in-chief, shared with me that submissions have risen over the past 3 years from 200 in 2018 to almost 300 in 2020. The acceptance rate remains only about 50%, and the current impact factor is 1.45, putting it in the solid top half of similar niche journals. The WM Reviewer Training Program has grown from 37 in 2019 to 45 people in 2020. If you're interested, contact Alicia Burns, the managing editor, to participate in this program. You should know the editors identify their strongest reviewers to join the editorial board, and in 2020 they added 2 new members to the board, Dr. Martha Tiso Van Pato and Dr. Monica Brodman-Mader. Who knows, if you participate as a peer reviewer, you could be next. Our other publication is the WMS Magazine, with Executive Director Seth Hawkins. This year, we've welcomed a new associate editor, Brian Simon, who wrote the climbing column in the magazine for several years. If you have an article or column idea, the magazine is always looking for great content, so pitch your article to Seth and his terrific crew. And check out some of the great articles and up-to-date information about COVID and outdoor activities online. To succeed in our mission, the WMS has to be financially viable, and I'm pleased to say that despite COVID, we have gone from a projected deficit to a net positive. Creating a reserve fund to fund programs is one of our strategic goals, and we are well on our way. I hope that in the next year or two, we can begin to offer grants and support new special interest committee and member programs. Develop those ideas and keep an eye out for a call for proposals in the near future. If you're interested in details of the financial situation, reach out to the Finance Committee, or you can check us out at guidestore.org. As a nonprofit, fundraising is one of our important activities. Through our efforts this past year, we raised $50,000. More than $31,000 will go to the Wangshu Memorial Hospital in Nepal, and $3,000 is supporting 30 student scholarships for this conference. Yay, students! You are the future of the WMS. And thank you so much to everyone who donated to these efforts. A quick word about our certification programs, which continue to grow. We currently have more than 1,200 FOM candidates, 170 plus diploma in mountain medicine candidates, and 38 diploma in dive medicine candidates. You can learn more about these programs on our website. And don't miss the Marine Medicine Conference in La Jolla, California in April of 2022, especially if you're pursuing your diploma in dive medicine. The Academy Council has been working hard on some updates to the FOM program that I wanted to share with you. The updated FOM brochure has just been completed and will include more detailed program guidelines. The website is being reviewed, and we're adding a frequently asked questions section. We've refined our system to notify candidates at different milestones in their FOM candidacy window, hopefully making the whole process and system more clear to you. In line with our values of inclusivity, the board approved a reduced fee for reviewing FOM credit courses offered by non-WMS organizations based in countries designated by the World Bank as other than high income. If you haven't started on your FOM yet, I encourage you to check out the program and join. Finally, I want to end by saying that the WMS would be nothing without the outstanding staff that keeps this organization running. I can't offer enough gratitude to our CEO, Renita Fonseca, our Director of Marketing and Membership, Kelly George, our Director of Conference and Education, Gabby Glass, Director of Programs and Operations, Alicia Kaufman, our CFO, Megan Janes, our Director of CME and the DIM and longstanding administrative support for the WMS, Terry Howell, Alicia Byrne, our Managing Editor at WEM, and Michelle Lynn, Conference and Membership Assistant, and Jim Ingwerson, our web support. Please give a warm virtual applause to this terrific crew. Thank you so much for your attention. Please enjoy the virtual winter conference. Reach out anytime to me or the other board members via private message in the chat during the conference or via our email on the board webpage or on social media. Thank you and have a great conference.